Hi, I'm David Yeager. I am an associate professor of psychology at the University of Texas at Austin. And I do research on adolescence. The 2 years in adolescence when depression seems to go up the most over time is the first year of high school, depression goes up, and the first year of college, depression goes up. So what is it about the first year? In some research published in the 1990s, the increase in depression in the first year of high school was associated with the decrease in friendships that you had. With my colleague Greg Walton, who's a professor at Standford University, we were asked by Stanford's president to do an experiment with all 1,700 new freshmen starting Stanford University. And the summer before they started, we gave them an online survey as a part of orientation. The online survey took only about 20 or 40 minutes for students to complete, but then we surveyed those students at the end of freshman year, about a year later. And what we found is that students who got our treatment before they started college were more likely to feel like they have friends in college over a year later, more likely to have joined extracurricular activities, more likely to feel less stressed. Students read stories from upperclassmen that we had interviewed where we asked them about their concerns about college. And those stories did the following. First, the story said, here's a time when I had a hard time in college. Maybe it was a roommate I didn't get along with. Maybe it was a professor who was really critical of my work. The stories tell about common difficulties, either academic or social. But then every single story does the following. What they told me was that those worries are normal and that over time they tended to improve, especially when you take little steps to become integrated into the community. At the very end, after reading statistics and stories, students are asked to write their own letter to a future student who's transitioning to Stanford. So it's a very simple and brief online experience, and yet it's deep psychologically because it invites students to process and really prepare for the difficulties they're about to face. The best way to break down barriers between different cultures is to solve problems together. And often we think of high school as about you get good grades so that you can get into a good college so you can get a good job. But if instead your goal is to make a difference in the world, to address maybe some kind of social injustice or address a problem facing the community, and then you say, this problem is more than I can solve on my own. I need to build a team of people. We need to work together on this. Then what you find is that you engage in shared problem solving with your colleagues. Adolescents sort into groups really quickly. What you often see is that when the school year starts, people sort based on like gender and race. But then when the school year ends, they're more likely to sort based on interests. And so the challenge as a parent is to be there for the things that your kids do need your advice for, and for the things that they don't necessarily need to ask you for, make sure that there's a third voice that you trust. It turns out one of the best ways to do that is things like summer camp. Because at summer camp, there are counselors who are just a few years older than you who can give advice.
打开你微信去搜索朋友，哎呀妈呀，哎呀妈呀，点一下，然后就搜索留学生知道，哎呀妈呀，点了关注，最后别忘了点一下置顶，每天都能和你再相见。